name's Emily. I'm a friend of Novi's and have been for quite a while. I am 20 years old studying aerospace engineering. I love chocolate, backyard astronomy, and this is like the fourth time I've filmed this.
Katie is one of the youngest friends I have. I don't know. I find that I develop these very elder brotherly vibes whenever I interact with her. And I like it. She always reminds me of myself from when I was 10 years younger, but much more grounded, much more talented, and much more sensible in every way, as you are about to find out very soon.
Okay, so enough intros. Let's begin.
Yeah. Perfect. Oh, this yeah. Mic check.
Novi, please, this is not a podcast.
I once took a train from Moscow to
Novi, please,
Vladivostok.
this is
It took
not
me
a
7
podcast.
days.
Wait, it's not? Took me like 2 hours just setting this up. I had to download a different software.
But Windows messed it up.
Yes, exactly. Now it just won't launch. I had to uninstall.
I've been pushing off that Windows update for a little while now.
All right. Let's begin. Hi.
Hi.
How's it going?
Pretty good.
All right.
All done with classes for the day, so.
Oh, nice. Okay. We have known each other for about 4 or 5 years now.
Yeah,
Maybe
about
even
that.
6. Yeah. I think you were somewhere in your mid-teens at the time. Usually when we meet somebody on the internet, the first 2 things we notice is what they type and how they type, right? So so my impression was, okay, this is someone who's sounds really wise for her age, and I was really impressed. And yeah, since we are on the topic, how did you discover HIH, and do you remember?
I think I found like a news article one time that said something about Hogwarts is here. Or it might even been on a message board that I was on. Someone had said, oh, there's a new website where you can take Hogwarts classes. And I thought, that sounds cool. And so I signed up.
Okay.
And yeah, I think I was around a sophomore in high school, so around 15 years old.
Right. Okay. Can you briefly tell me about the kind of skills that you are accumulating right now, or the skills that you already have accumulated through formal education, as in what did you learn in school and what are you learning about now, and what is it leading towards?
Well, I'm definitely learning a lot about math and physics applications, because that's all engineering is. It's physics and making physics work for us. And that's leading towards, I guess, an eventual career in the aerospace industry. I want to work on space stuff. But of course, like, school in general has taught me a lot about how to write, how to problem solve, how to think critically about things, and really just how to learn in general. I mean, there's always reading, but there's always so much more you can find. Like, we always do these projects every year where we have to learn how to use the library and all the resources there are, and how to find books and articles and videos and all sorts of things.
So is this something you think you always wanted to do growing up?
Working in the aerospace industry?
Yeah.
I didn't always want to do it, actually. For a really long time, I wanted to be an archaeologist. I thought it was really cool. Really liked history, but someone in my family told me there was no honor in that job, and so I decided to switch gears, and I wanted to go into astronomy. But a couple years later, I joined a robotics team and learned about engineering and realized, oh, I can take astronomy and engineering and just kind of like mush it together and get aerospace.
So now it's fine. You don't no longer regret not getting a shot at archaeology.
Yeah, I'm really happy with aerospace. I've always loved space, and growing up on the West Coast, specifically near Seattle, there's so much of the aerospace industry there, and so it's been a really natural segue into that as a career field.
Oh, that's good to hear. Was there anything else that interested you? Did you explore, or once you decided that this is where I want to go, you just focused on it right away?
I was also interested in meteorology and seismology, so the study of weather and the study of earthquakes. I really liked science as a kid, and I think I probably could have been happy as a meteorologist or a seismologist, but I still watch a ton of Weather Channel and Science Channel documentaries and shows about all sorts of weird weather and things like that, and get excited when I see cool clouds. But in the end, I'm really happy with aerospace.
You also used to pursue robotics as well as ballet dancing. Is that right? Yeah. Okay. So those are just hobbies, or do you still are you still following them, or
ballet I did for 16 years throughout most of high school, high school, middle school, elementary school, and even before that. I was never too good though, but I do like it as just a hobby. It was never really something I could consider as a career path, except when I was really little.
Years. You can't say you're not good.
I wasn't that good. I promise you I was not that good. I got last place at a dance competition once.
So what made you keep going?
I just liked it. It was a nice break from school, and also just to kind of, express myself in a way that wasn't through writing or wasn't through school. It was just something I could do and, enjoy the music and enjoy dancing and being able to create something like choreographed to the music
And robotics.
Robotics. I joined a club in high school, my high school robotics team. Every year we build a robot to basically compete in a game. So a game for robots, like one year it was something similar to basketball. Another year it had to cross over weird terrain and then shoot a ball through like a hole. So also kind of similar to basketball. And I was, again, always really interested in science. And at that point, I was starting to look seriously into, future career paths. And I always thought robotics was super cool. Yeah. Remember in 7th grade, I saw the robotics team at my little sister's science fair. And I had to build up the courage to go and talk to them because I thought they were the coolest thing in the entire world. And I wanted to make sure they knew I was smart. And so I thought of a really good question to go up and ask them about their robot because I wanted them to think I was smart. I was really interested in robotics.
Okay. So are you still in touch with it?
Yeah, I still mentor the team I was on a little bit through Discord, obviously, because I'm on the other side of the country. But I offer them my advice and the skills I've learned through engineering. It was a really natural segue into engineering because we learned all about the design process and how things get built and prototyping and all sorts of things like that.
Are there any other hobbies that you really have right now?
Writing mostly. I finished my first book a couple months ago, and now I'm revising it. So that's kind of what I do outside of school right now.
Okay.
And I also play Quidditch.
Oh, yeah, of course. Is there some this going into science and then engineering, and then as it's a natural progression as a career and everything like that, but do you have a sort of a backup career option? Because what we had right before, we talked about when you were growing up, but what about right now? Does that go through your mind? Yeah,
occasionally I start, if I fail a test, I start thinking oh God, what am I going to do? I've always thought, I guess, being a writer, although I don't know if I could make that a full-time career just with how I write. I'm a really slow writer, but I really don't know. Right now, I've kind of put all my eggs in one basket and kind of just gone full force with that. I don't really have a backup plan. Yeah, I don't know. I might be a ballet teacher. I could probably teach ballet if I wanted to, but I don't know if that would be something I would really be interested in doing for the rest of my life.
Yeah, it's just you don't have to. It's just a question that I have. Because people usually have, there will be fears, right? When you are at your weakest and things going through your mind. So, okay, what about role models? Do you believe in role models? As in, was there someone you always looked up to? It could be somebody in your family, your relatives, or your friends, or even celebrities.
I don't know if there was anyone really specific. I mean, I always looked up to various scientists and engineers and just other people in my life, specifically the female engineers and things like that I had heard of or got to meet in my life. I really looked up to my mentor during my first internship with Boeing. She taught me so much about what it was like to be a female in a male-dominated workplace and just really offered me so much advice for how to pursue engineering and how to just keep going with it and stay strong. And she was such a great example. And also there were people on my robotics team who they were like the seniors when I was a freshman, who I guess I was a sophomore, who just kind of exemplified, I guess, just everything I kind of wanted to be. They were smart. They were good at engineering. People seemed to like them. They were getting awards and things like that. One of them was salutatorian, so one step down from valedictorian.
What if I were to turn the question around to what are your thoughts of when suppose you find out that somebody else looks up to you as a role model, because some people have that, as in they think that being a role model brings a lot of pressure and stuff like that.
Definitely pressure is one of them. I found out, I think it was during my junior year, that there was a freshman on the robotics team that really looked up to me, and she sort of became I called her my freshman buddy. I taught her everything I knew about the team and everything like that, and I just kind of wanted her to do well, because I kind of felt like her doing well meant I was going to do well, or that at least maybe if I would have failed in some way back then, I could help her succeed in the future. And I mean, she did pretty great, so I felt pretty good about that. And she's always come to me with questions, or if she needed help or other things like that. And now she's studying engineering. She was prom queen and president of the robotics team. So kind of made me feel good that, I was there to kind of guide her in, the early years and kind of be her role model there. But yeah, it's definitely a lot of pressure and a lot of just kind of like hope that you'll do the right thing, or that you'll lead them the right way and not astray, or hope that they're not going to fall into the same pitfalls you did.
Eyes on you. And so if there were someone watching this right now, what would you tell them from the experience that you have in your 20 years?
Don't give up. Use nepotism when you've got it. And
okay.
It's useful. And even when it's really hard, there's always people that are there to support you, even if you don't see them right off the bat.
Do you have a sort of for example, I have a fear of being judged, that I find that it limits me in a way that I'm always thinking, if I do this, what will the person or the people in the room think of me, or what will my friends or my parents, or not just when I am not doing well, as in when I'm failing, even when I set out to do something, I want to impress. I don't actually think of if this is exactly what I want to do. So do you have something like that you think that limits you, or?
What you said definitely strikes true. I always want people to be proud of me and to support the decisions that I've made. And sometimes you find out they don't, and it can really be anxiety inducing. Like, I had adults at my internship, so people I worked with, critiquing my choice of school and telling me that I made a bad choice, and that how could I go there, and things like that. And it's very stressful. Like, oh gosh, what if I did make a bad choice, and that's going to cascade down for the rest of my life and just ruin my chance of a happy future. But yeah.
What do you do in such situations? Do you just follow what path you were on, or do you deviate in order to look like you're taking their advice, or you're doing what they want you to do?
In some situations, I do deviate. In that situation, in the regards to what university I attend, that was not one I could easily do. But I did consider it, actually. I was considering transferring university and trying to go back to the University of Washington. So close to home, a little higher up, I guess you could say, than where I'm at now.
Yeah.
But I ended up realizing that where I'm at is probably the best for me right now. I have a great system of friends here, and I know the teachers now and everything. And so I thought, I'm going to make the best of my situation because it's my choice. And I've already had some great opportunities through this that I might not have gotten at other places, where instead of being in like the top third, I might have been in like the bottom third and things like that.
Yeah. I have a rapid fire of round thing for you. Just say whatever pops in your head first. Let's start. What's the best piece of advice you have received?
Don't stop trying. Keep fighting.
Okay. What's your favorite movie ever?
Anastasia.
Okay, I don't think I've seen it.
You probably haven't.
Describe yourself in 3 words.
Curious, anxious,
Okay.
and determined.
What is your biggest pet peeve?
When people act like they know everything, yeah. People who act like they know everything and then make judgments based off of people because what they think they know is not what someone else says they know.
Dark chocolate or milk chocolate? That's an easy one.
Dark chocolate.
If you could be from any other decade or era, which would it be?
I don't know, I really like the outfits of like the 1700s, but I don't know if I want to live there.
So far back, okay. Oh, you mean those hats and those...
Yeah, the
I don't know the words.
big pretty dresses and...
Exactly. Nice. If you could have any 3 people, dead or alive, real or fictional, over for dinner, who would they be? McGonagall, Minerva McGonagall, because I feel like she gives great advice. Okay.
To turn into a cat, which I think would be really cool to see. I love cats. Let's see. Marcus Zuzak, he's an author. And I don't know, I feel like it would be kind of cool to talk to like Leonardo da Vinci.
Oh, yeah. If your house was on fire, what 2 things would you run back in and get?
My computer and, assuming this is back at home, my cats.
Okay, I was looking at objects. But yeah, okay. If you have pets.
Well, I guess, sure.
Yeah.
If you want another object, I guess it would be my signed copy of The Book Thief.
Oh, okay. Name a book you read that positively shaped you.
The Book Thief.
Okay. iPhone or Android?
Android.
Yeah. If you had a spirit animal, what would it be?
A jellyfish.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's cute. Tattoos or no tattoos?
No tattoos.
What's the best gift you have ever received?
Probably my signed copy of The Book Thief.
I think I saw that coming. Okay, if you had one superpower, what would it be? This is the last question.
Either to fly, because I think flying would be the coolest thing in the world, or what's the telekinesis? Like bring objects to me, move objects with my mind.
Ah, yeah, okay. Wow. Okay, so I think I'm done, and I had three cameras just in case, recording it from different angles. I don't know, because what if my screen recorder stopped or something happened? And
redundancy.
Yes. All right, we'll stop here. This is kind of the first time I'm doing this, so you're one of the first people.
I'm sure after a few more you'll get good at it.
Yeah.
Hey.
So, yeah, it'll be I know, and it'll go on the.
See you
again, and bye.
Bye.
Hold up. Not so fast.
Hi.
Hi, can you hear me this time?
Yeah. Now I can hear you.
Okay.
That's so cool. This is not going to be as intense as the last time because maybe it'll just be much more light-hearted. Okay. Hey Google, stop. Okay. I forgot there was music on. For the benefit of our viewers / listeners, okay, the listeners might not feel or can tell the difference, but the viewers can. So this episode has been shot in 2 parts. The first part was shot on the 24th of February, and the second is being recorded on the 25th of April. So wow, that's more than 2 months, and how much things have changed. Yeah, I mean, I think if we were to compare later as well, when this we can maybe even see the changes that because I think you were in a very, very different part of your country at the time, and
I was on the other coast.
Yes. So how is it going? How is being on campus and online? What differences are you finding? How is it different?
I'm not enjoying online engineering school. Engineering school was not meant to be taught online.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Also, I have to take my classes 3 hours earlier because of time zones. So a class that used to be taught at 10 a.m. is now being taught at 7 a.m. for me. And my final, which is going to be at 8 a.m. on the East Coast, I now have to take at 5 a.m.
Wow. Yeah.
And
I I hadn't even thought of that time zones. Wow. Taking an exam at 5 a.m. I don't think I've ever done that in my entire life.
yeah,
Wow.
I'm not looking forward to it.
Yeah,
Thankfully,
I don't envy you at all. That is something.
So we're gonna
When
we're
when
gonna
are your
see how
finals?
much. They start actually this Friday, so a little over a week. That's the first one. And I have a couple final projects. My final projects are all being due this week, and then exams start this Friday, and then go into that next Thursday.
Okay.
So I'm almost done.
Yeah.
Pass fail grading for the win.
Good luck for your exams though. Your video is still frozen.
My video's frozen.
Yeah, I think I get what you meant by slow servers. But it's okay as long as there's the voice is clear. It should be fine.
Awesome.
Today I wanted to talk about let's go over your hobbies. I think you're the friend I have who has a wide range of hobbies, like the biggest range I know, and I secretly admire it. And okay, it's not much of a secret anymore. It's such a wide range that I cannot even begin to. I mean, can you list the hobbies that you have right now? At least the things that you are currently kind of pursuing, or giving time to?
All right. Well, unfortunately, since it's finals, most of my hobby time is spent studying.
I get that. That's why I said.
Yes, I get what you mean. So, writing. I spend a lot of time writing and reading. Actually, editing my first book right now. Sewing. I do a lot of sewing because I cosplay. I played Quidditch in college. So the sport from Harry Potter. Yes, it's real. We don't fly, sadly, unless you're drunk, and then I tell you we do fly. In a volunteer group that brings creative programming to children in hospitals. What else do I do? There's a lot that I do. I also really enjoy playing board games and Dungeons and Dragons.
Because it's like I have known you for more than 5 years now, and you still surprise me, because every time I think, okay, and this is what you must, and then you come up with, you tell me something new, and I'm like, okay, that is yet another thing that you do, and I have to tell you that I'm constantly surprised every time you bring up something new, and I can't figure out. I mean, I cannot imagine how you're able to dedicate time to each and also have time left over for your academics, because this is something that I never did. I'm 30 years old and I never learned it, and it's okay, it's never too late to learn, so I want to know that from you.
Okay. Well, by year it's very much compartmentalized based on when I'm at school and when I'm not. So for example, I cannot do any sewing or anything like that while I'm actually at school, the exception being right now because I'm home. But even then I'm not doing much of it because I don't have a sewing machine in my apartment back at school. So I don't sew at all except for during school breaks. And so that's when I do all of my cosplay work. And so, so all my cosplay work is squished down into 4 months of the year, basically. And for writing, it's a lot of when do I have time? It means either like Saturday morning when I get up, spending a few hours working on my computer. I also help run a writing server, so that helps a lot with like motivation. People are expecting to see new chapters. So it's like once a week, if I can get like an hour in for a week, get a couple thousand words out, done. Reading, ebooks saved my life. So when I have like 10 minutes between classes, when it's not quite enough time to pull out books and study or anything like that, because problems are really long, typically for what I'm doing now, I can read half a chapter between classes, or while I'm on the tram or the bus in between stops. So it's a lot of finding time and places and keeping myself busy, because I get really anxious if I don't have something I'm doing.
So is that something you plan for, or you just pick it where, like, you decide on the like?
Well, obviously things right now are a little weird, so I'll go to like what school was like.
On a regular day,
so
not when there
are. But so that would typically be classes all morning. I started at typically 10 a.m. or 9 a.m. Get their classes, and I'll know, okay, I have Quidditch 8 to 10 or 9 to 11 p.m.
Okay.
So I'll need to either have a small meal before and then another small meal after. So I start planning out my meals around when I have things like Quidditch, because that's exercise, and then you don't want to exercise at a full stomach. So I start planning that out. But then also I'll typically stay on campus for around 2 to 3 hours after class to just work on homework and do group projects and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I also rely heavily on a planner to just keep everything in line for when projects are due, assignments are due, when I have certain meeting, when I need to fill stuff out for meetings.
So is that
for
something
example,
that is you physically write down, or is it a digital planner?
It's just a little paper planner that I have. It thankfully isn't like yearly specific. So basically when a new semester starts, I just flip over the page, draw out my schedule, and then just start and organize it by weeks and things like that. So that works for me. To just kind of keep track of like, oh, I need to go shopping for eggs and get a birthday present for this friend and send this and mail this. But I also need to make sure I order this off of Amazon and remember that I have a Quidditch tournament the next weekend and things like that, so that I can start planning around when I need to get homework done, what homework assignments need to be done, and then when I can have free time to do other things. So I'll know like, okay, I should finish this homework, in 3 or 4 hours. So then maybe I'll have an extra hour at night to play video games or read or write or do whatever it is, or get another head start on future homework.
Okay. Wow. I don't know. I find it really inspirational that you're able to stick to you have a schedule and you are able to stick to it.
Some homework assignments throw the schedule completely out of the water, but you know what? It keeps me on track most of the time.
You mentioned cosplay, and that is something that I want to ask you about. I would say maybe I am that ignorant, but I feel that it's not a very popular hobby that people have. But I'm sure you attend what are they called? Pardon my ignorance.
Convention?
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, I wasn't able to recall the word. Yeah, you go to these conventions where there are people, of course, who have the same interest that you have. But is it? People
cosplaying? Is it common?
Exactly, yeah.
At conventions, I'd say somewhere around 70% of the attendees are in some sort of cosplay, whether it be as simple as wearing your Star Trek shirt and everything.
Yeah,
and just
at the conventions, yes.
Extra.
I think I started watching the Big Bang Theory, where the characters attend. That is where I think the first time I saw something like that, because before that I had no idea. And now that I know someone like you who actually attends this, is that something that is common in the US? Like most kids, do you have friends around you who do it, or?
I have quite a few friends who are in the same kind of circle that go to conventions and things like that. A lot of the people that attend them are those that are involved in fandom, I guess you could say. So the Harry Potter fans, the people who really like to read books, movies and all of that, they feel a very strong connection to that media and then want to share that relation to that media. So first person I met who also did cosplay was on my robotics team, and she got me into it because I'd always wanted to do it, kind of looking on it like in awe, wanting to be able to bring something from the television show or a video game and bring it to life. And eventually I did my first one. I made my first one the summer between senior year of high school and freshman year of college. And the rest has been history.
I think when you follow something like that, you also pick up a lot of skills on the side. Yeah, because at least from what you have shared, and I've seen you, because you said you make your own costumes and then you go out of your way to attend these conventions, meet new people there, and I think that's something that I wish I knew before because I would have also loved to try it.
Well, if you ever come to wherever I am for a visit, I'll take you to a convention.
Definitely, I would love to attend it, because it's something that I have never done or never thought of, but it sounds so cool in my head, dressing up as your favorite character and for the day just being someone who you always like watching on the screen or reading in the books and stuff like that. That's really cool.
Yeah, I'll even let you wear my Hogwarts robes.
Since we met on a Harry Potter themed website, and you are somebody who I can never wrap my head around it, because I think you are one of the youngest friends I have, and you're nearly 10 years younger than me. I'm like a generation ahead, and I have pointed it out many times in the past as well that you're younger than the first Harry Potter book, or you're younger than the Lion King movie, or you're younger than Google and stuff like that. But so not go through that again. I'll just ask you, what is your first Harry Potter memory?
I do remember my first Harry Potter memory, vaguely.
Okay.
One of them I don't remember well, but I'm pretty sure I was watching the first movie because it was the only one I could watch as a kid because I was terrified of all the others. And I remember Diagon Alley. And
Do you remember how old you were?
No, not at all. I was at least 4 or 5, at least. I might have been 6. I don't really remember when the first one came out.
Way young, yeah.
But I knew we had it on VHS. We knew we had the first one on VHS.
Yeah, the first movie came out in 2001.
So yeah, I was 2 or 3 in 2001.
Yeah.
But the one I remember the memory I have the most clearly is of the second movie. We started watching it, and I was, it was cool. I kind of remembered the first Harry Potter movie. I didn't make it past the little spiders that were crawling on the walls.
Okay.
I didn't even make it to the big one. I said no. I got upset and scared at the little tiny spiders crawling on the wall, and I didn't watch Harry Potter again until I was 12 years old when the last movie came out.
Okay.
And my summer camp was going to the movie theater to watch the last one, and so I binged the entire series.
Okay.
In like 1 week before my camp went to go see the last one. So.
Wow.
And I had all the books too, because my mom had been picking them up for me at garage sales and used bookstores. And after I watched all the movies in one go, I then started reading the books.
Okay. So
it's definitely unconventional because I got into it a lot later than a lot of people in my generation, but I fell in hard.
And you were still pretty young when I think we got to know each other. So I'm guessing that's not long after this time that you just mentioned.
Yeah. Might have been 14 or 15, so it's 2 years later.
Okay.
When I found Hogwarts is here.
Wow.
And saw you. It's a really long time ago. I remember literally just like I remember where I was sitting when I was sitting literally like right there, like off my bed. When I found an article that talked about how you could take online Hogwarts lessons, and I signed up right away. I talked about it, so it definitely was sophomore year, I know for certain, because I talked about joining Hogwarts is here as one of the defining moments of my life in my French class.
Did it really change your life?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have found so many of the online friends I did without it.
Yeah, okay, if you think about it that way, yeah.
You guys were such an important part in my life for so many years. Like, every day it was coming to go make friends and on Facebook and everything, learning how to role play with these people, because when I joined Hogwarts is here, my old role play forum, I had kind of grown out of it.
Okay.
And there was really no way for me to really stay connected with them because it was a site meant for children. So privacy was a huge thing. So we couldn't share emails or anything like that. So really, I was looking for a new group of friends, and I found the new group of friends there, and a lot of people feel as close with them as though I, grew up with them from school, because I basically did from like 15 on.
Yeah, I think for you, you'll have felt the impact a lot more than for someone like me who went from 24 to 30, and I would imagine your age group and you, since we are talking about you today, grew up with internet. Like, that's something that we didn't, and so I want to know how growing up with internet feels like.
So for me, the internet and reading really went hand in hand, and the internet is why I actually started writing. I mean, I'd always been writing a little bit. In elementary school, I wrote a ton of stories. I won a poetry contest. But with the internet, the first few forums I was on was through the Scholastic website, which is a publishing company that does a lot of elementary to middle school stuff. and like they had a website for the 39 Clues and Harry Potter and everything.
Okay.
And so those first connections were really made with people who shared a really similar interest to me with these same books that we all loved and everything like that. So that's kind of where that started. And so that reading came hand in hand with that. And that's where I started role playing, which is what taught me, and writing fan fiction and everything for these books, which has taught me how to, I guess, develop my writing skills.
Wow.
Read more and everything. And God, I remember my first role play I didn't know how to use quotation marks for a dialogue. I remember I went through some of my old forum posts a couple years back, and I saw them, and man, it was rough. So it's definitely been great to see the progress there. So it really did come hand in hand. I mean, I didn't use the internet a lot until I got my own computer and actually made those connections on those forums and started learning that I could engage with people who had these similar interests to me. But we weren't engaging in face-to-face conversation. We were engaging through writing, which was a lot more accessible to me because I didn't get anxious or didn't have to worry about people not liking me, because if they didn't like me, they just didn't have to respond to me on the internet. It just became very easy to kind of talk to people that way and make those first few friends. Like, I'm still in contact with someone who I was able to find through a kind of subversive means, the way that we used to tell each other what our Wattpad usernames used to be. And like, so the mods wouldn't catch it. We were devious. But I'm still friends with her. We follow each other on Instagram and we talk every once in a while. And that was a friendship that started when I was like 11 years old.
The nickname that I gave you, but do you remember though?
Ravenclaw? Pokemilurkadoravenclawesome, Ravenclaw, that one.
Yeah, there are a couple of nicknames that I have given you over the years, and I'm the kind of person who likes to give people nicknames and then it kind of sticks. But for you, it's like either the big ass word or I call you Katie, and which is like which came out of a meme, literally.
It did, yeah. But the thing is, even then it was a condensed version because it was Katie as the full name, and then you brought it down to KT.
Yeah. But the other one, I think it developed over time, right? We just kept adding new stuff to it.
Yeah, I think it started with like Emmy Lurk, because I lurked a lot.
Yeah.
In the League of 42 chat, I believe, is where it started.
Then I added an adorable to it.
And you just kept finding words to just...
And then Ravenclaw.
Pokemilurkadoravenclawesome.
Yeah. And eventually we did that. There was a brief period where we used to poke each other on Facebook and keep count of, what's that called? What's like, they do that on Snapchat these days. So
streak.
Yeah.
Streak.
Yeah, exactly. Does Facebook still have that?
I believe Facebook still has pokes. I don't remember how many got.
I haven't seen that feature in a long time.
Maybe you'll get a poke from me.
But I like the fact that others pick up on it and then they start calling you Katie. For me, in my head, it's funny because most times I'm not sure if they actually know how the name came about. Yeah.
History.
I still haven't gotten better at it, like smooth endings. So I'm just going to do the thing that I did the last time. Good luck for your exams though, next week. And
thank you.
And thank you for taking the time out a second time. Hopefully this will come out. No, hopefully this comes out soon. Whenever I finally get down to editing it. And all right, thank you and bye.
Coming real, it's the next episode. That is one big pile of shit.
Just wait a moment.
पहले वीडियो लाइक करें फिर सब्सक्राइब करें टिंग टिंग टिंग